Okay, so how you guys doing? I hope you're all having a great day. So, so that video I made last night about church feeling more like a high school rather than a church. Um, I just kind of wanted to add a little more to it because I shared that video on Facebook and somebody took really strong offense to it and even deleted me from Facebook and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. Just pray for the person. Um, but last month, when the Lord started putting high school on my mind, um, what had happened was He was putting a lot of symbolism on my mind. And because you guys know when God speaks to you, He uses a lot of symbolism. Well, um, last month, I kept thinking about sharks. So the Lord kept putting sharks on my mind. That was the symbolism I kept getting. And then that was when high school came into the picture. So I felt like the Lord was put this image in my head about the ocean. You know, because I was watching this documentary about sharks and the ocean and all the different sea creatures and the ocean and everything. And I felt like what the Lord was basically speaking to me is just like the ocean, there's good fish and bad fish. You know, it's equivalent to the world. You know, out in the world, there are people that are good and have your back and won't harm you. But there's always a shark that you have to watch out for. Because just like the ocean, there's a lot of sharks out in the world that you have to look out for. And like I said, that was a month ago. And right after the Lord started showing me that, I went through all this tribulation that I had to deal with last month. And I was like, okay, well, that couldn't have happened at a more appropriate time. And then that's when the Lord put high school in my mind. How sometimes church feels more like a high school rather than an actual church. And you guys know the Monster High dolls, right? Well, I saw a commercial for Monster High, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, every high school should be called Monster High because there's a lot of evil kids in high school nowadays. And so, and then the Lord started showing me about the real world, how I started thinking about how in the real world you never really get away from high school and the drama of high school because there's no matter how old you get, there's always going to be people that backstab you and talk about you and make fun of you and exclude you. And sadly, that's just the world that we're living in, you know. It doesn't always mean there's something wrong with you. I mean, if you do feel like there's something you need to work on, then definitely do it. But if somebody is making you feel bullied or making you feel picked on, especially if it's somebody you go to church with or someone who claims to be a fellow Christian, and if you've tried talking to this person and they just keep making everything difficult for you, the best thing to do is just not talk to them no more. Just keep praying for them, but don't really talk to them unless the Lord lays it on your heart to talk to them. Because I was actually reading in Proverbs today. It was in chapter 18, verse 19. It said, a brother who is offended is hard to be won. So, yes, when somebody gets offended by you and they start mocking you and making fun of you, whatever the situation is, a person like that is going to be very hard to be around and very hard to deal with. So, just keep that in mind, you know. Just pay attention to the sharks out there. Don't let the sharks bite you and swallow you up, and don't let people bring you down and make you feel bad about yourself. You know, if you did something wrong, make it right, but don't let people make you feel like you deserve to be treated some sort of way just because they don't like you or don't agree with the way you stand up for the gospel. So God bless.